Hi everyone and welcome to Nervous Nessie. Today we are going to talk about booking lodging. Now there are 4 different types of lodging options that you can choose from when it comes to booking your trip. And we're going to talk all about those in just a moment. The 4 different options that you can choose from when it comes to your lodging are going to be hotels, hostels, resorts, or staying with friends and family. And there's a lot of different things that you need to think about when it comes to each one of those. We're going to cover all the different tips and tricks you can use, things you might not have thought about when it comes to certain one of those options, and how to navigate all of that. That way you have a lot less anxiety. The first option is hotels. There's tons of hotels out there, all different types of companies, hotels, motels, kind of one and the same, just depends on what you prefer. Hotels are different from motels. A lot of people don't realize this. A hotel actually has all of the rooms inside the building. That means that you have to go down a hallway to access your room, and it's within the building. This adds security because usually you have to have your key for your room to be able to get to your floor and of course to your room. With a motel, however, all of the rooms are on the outside of the building. So if you're worried about the possibility of someone breaking into your room, motels might not work for you because anyone can walk in off the street and go to your room and kick the door in and access it. So for me, I always choose hotels. That way I don't have to worry about that. When looking for a hotel or motel, always read the reviews. Look and see what other people have said. Obviously, you're gonna have a couple of reviews where someone got mad at something and just blasted the hotel. However, if you look at all of the reviews, you'll see a consistency with the different types of reviews. If a hotel is kind of dirty or doesn't feel safe, you're gonna see that in multiple reviews. You might occasionally see 1 or 2, and everyone's level of cleanliness and safety and whatnot is different. If you're a complete neat freak, you may give a more harsh review compared to someone who just wants to go in and lay on the bed and go to sleep and not worry about it. But always read the reviews. That way you know exactly what you're going to be getting. Otherwise, you could get burned. When trying to choose a hotel, always look at the location of the hotel. Where is the hotel located in proximity to what you're going to be doing in the city that you're going to be visiting? If all of the locations that you're wanting to visit, maybe the tourist locations, are in one area, you might want to just get a hotel in that area. But one thing to think about is they know this. They know that people don't want to have to travel across a city to go to a popular location. And so they kind of jack up the prices on the hotels that are in those locations. So think about the cost versus the location. Sometimes you can find hotels that are just a few blocks away from one hotel that is in the center of it. And those hotels can really drastically drop in prices. So shop around and see the location versus what you're going to be doing. And if location doesn't matter to you, go for the cheaper cost. Another thing to think about when it comes to booking a hotel is all your different options within the hotel. Can you get upgrades? Can you get a specific floor? Maybe you kind of have a fear of heights and you don't want a higher floor, then you can choose a lower floor. Or maybe you want a good view, a room with a view, and you want to choose the top floor. then when it comes to booking your hotel, when you go online and you're looking, you can choose the different floors that you want. Some hotel sites don't have that option. So when you book your hotel room, give the hotel a call right away. Don't even wait. Just as soon as you get the confirmation for that hotel, go ahead and call the hotel and say, hey, I booked this room. Can I get a higher floor or a lower floor or whatever it may be? And while you've got them on the phone, see if they have upgrades. See if, they have some kind of deal going on within the hotel, and they might can give you a voucher for an excursion or something. Another thing is food options. Are there restaurants or bars within the hotel? Or look at the location around your hotel. Are there food options around there? Sometimes if you book in a city center where all the different businesses are, if you're going during the week or even on the weekend and your hotel is in the middle of the business district, a lot of times in big cities, they shut down. All the businesses are only open really from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., maybe 6. So if you book your hotel in the middle of a business district and you want to eat dinner, there may not be some options around other than what's in your hotel. And if you didn't check to see if there's food options in your hotel, you're gonna have to travel to go get some food. Now, there is one trick that I have heard of. I have never tried it because I usually only travel with just myself or maybe one or two other people. But if, let's say, you're traveling with your family and you book your hotel room, you can request a rollaway bed. And what this is it's basically just a bed frame on wheels. It usually comes folded up like this. They wheel it down the hallway and then open the bed out in the room. I have heard that if you get to your room and you have multiple people with you, obviously this is not going to work if you're traveling alone or with maybe one other person. But if you get to the hotel and you say, hey, can I also have a rollaway bed brought to my room? The hotel rooms are only certain sizes, and those rollaway beds may not fit in the room that you booked. So what they will do is give you an upgrade to a bigger room to make room for that bed. So I haven't tried it again, but I have heard that it's a little trick you can use to get a free upgrade in your room. If you have tried it and you say it works or you haven't, then let me know. Leave a comment below and say, yeah, it worked or it didn't. And I would love to find out if that actually works or not. Another little trick that people have used is booking the hotel room for a certain number of people, knowing that a different number of people will be staying in that hotel room. Now, what I mean by that is, let's say you're having a girls' weekend or a guys' weekend, and you book a hotel room. It has 2 queen beds, and you book your reservation for 2 people. Now the hotel's going to see this and think, okay, 2 beds, 2 people, makes sense. However, you actually have 4 people coming, and you plan on 2 people in one bed, 2 people in another bed. Or maybe the room has a couch, or somebody's willing to sleep in a sleeping bag on the floor and you have even more people in the room. I've done that, and it's a little awkward, but it can work. But what happens is when you book the rooms, there's kind of a pro and con, and you have to play around with it. Now, why people do this is they want to save money. A lot of times the hotels The more people you add to a room, the more the cost goes up. Not always though. Play around when it comes to booking and see what your options are. Put in 2 people and see, okay, my cost is $70 a night. Put in 4 people, ooh, my cost went up to $100 a night. That's $30 more. You could save that money by putting less people, even though more people are showing up. However, the flip side to this is the hotel also is planning on so many people being in that room, so you only get enough amenities for those people. What that means is you get 2 towels. That's it. 2 towels for the 2 people who book the room. So if 4 people show up, how are you going to get 2 more towels? If you call the hotel and say, oh, I need more towels brought to my room, it's kind of going to be a red flag. And if you know that having more people in the room means the price is going to go up, sending out that red flag to the hotel, they may realize that you have more people in that room and charge you more money anyways. Now, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't, depends on the hotels. And of course, hotels know that people do this. If you don't want to worry about sending out the red flags, you could always bring your own towels. But why go through that hassle? And plus, that $30, if you're splitting it between 4 people, it's not going to be that much anyways. This might work if you're a family and you have little ones, and mom and dad have the 2 towels, and mom lets one kid use her towel and dad lets the other kid use his towel. You could get away with this, but you just kind of have to play around and see what the cost is for adding people, if there's a cost. If there's no cost, then why bother? So kind of a little tip or trick that you could use, but play around with it with caution. Now, the next option for lodging is going to be hostels. And a lot of people think of hostels as dirty or just cheap in general. Maybe it's for a younger crowd. It is definitely cheaper in general. I book one room at a hotel and it's $100 a night versus a hostel is $30 per night. I'm going with a hostel. I'm gonna save that money. But there is an offset to that. You have to think about all of the amenities and the setup of a hostel. So hostels work with different room types. Just like you have a hotel with a king size single bed, you have a queen size 2 queen in a room bed. Some bedrooms have like a little suite where it has a separate living room, maybe a little kitchenette that has a small fridge and a microwave. Just like options with hotels, you have options with hostels. And the main options are an individual room. That means I'm the only person in that room. The other option is the dorm rooms. And it's exactly what you think of. It is a dorm. Multiple people staying in one room. And these are always with bunk beds. It's kind of rare to have it where it's a single bed laid out, but usually with the dorm room style, they are bunk beds. So that's kind of one thing you have to consider is, do you want the privacy of your own individual room, or do you want to be in a room with total strangers? It can cause a lot of anxiety. Now, with the individual room, look at your prices, because a lot of times the individual room price is going to be pretty close to a hotel price. Not really worth it. You might as well just pay the little bit extra and get a hotel, because the showers in a hostel are community. Everyone's using those showers, whether you have an individual room or you have the dorm style room. Every once in a while, you'll find a hostel where your individual room does have its own small bathroom, but it's kind of rare. Usually you're using the community bathroom with everyone else. Now, when it comes to the dorms, look at your different types of dorms. You have the single sex dorm rooms. So it's all females in the room, all males in the room, or you have your mixed gender dorm rooms. That means men and women are in those rooms together. Everyone's on the different beds. You could have female on the lower bed, male on the upper bed, across from that, male on the lower bed. It's a mixture. So being in a dorm room, if it gives you anxiety being around strangers, not the best idea for you. If it gives you anxiety being, let's say, a female and you're in a room with male strangers, maybe pick the female dorm rooms instead. I prefer doing the mixed, and there's pros and cons to it. In general, men have a tendency to snore a lot more than women, so you have to think about that at night. Everyone's going to be snoring, passing gas, those sorts of things. But I also like staying in the mixed gender rooms because you do get a variety of people that you can meet. And that brings me to the major benefit of staying in a hostel is you are meeting a ton of different people. If you book a hotel room and you're traveling by yourself, or maybe you're traveling with one other person, you're alone and you don't have anyone to converse with except for maybe that person that came with you. But if you're staying in a hostel, you can meet everyone. And if you get up one day and you're like, oh, I don't have anything planned for today, what do I want to do? Hey, person over here, what are you doing today? Do you mind if I tag along? Or I want to go see this museum today. Would you like to come with me? And the people that stay in hostels, it's a lifestyle. It's a choice to stay in those hostels, and people generally seem friendlier. You can build friendships that will last a lifetime by staying in a hostel. And by befriending the people in the hostels, maybe they stay in another country, they live in another country. Then building that friendship, the next time you go to that country, you can stay with them, or they can stay with you when they come to your city. So that's one thing to think about, is the community that comes with staying in a hostel. And like I said, the bathrooms in the hostels are community. You have your own separate shower, usually it's in its own room, but you are having to carry things to the bathroom, versus in a hotel, you just lay your stuff out on the bathroom counter and call it a day. We'll get a little more into hostels in a future video. Now, your third option for lodging is going to be resorts. When you book a resort, make sure you read over your fine print to see exactly what all is included in staying in a resort. Most resorts are all inclusive, but that doesn't mean that everything is free after you pay that initial booking cost. Most of the time, your alcoholic beverages are not free. And so you have to think about that. Do you want to pay for each alcoholic beverage while you're at the resort? One little tip to the alcoholic beverage thing with staying in resorts is go into the nearest city or town, buy your alcohol and your mixers, your beer, your wine, whatever it is, and have it there. That way you don't have to pay for it while you're out. But if, let's say, you're by the pool at the resort, you don't want to have to go all the way back to your room to mix up a drink or grab another beer. So you'll either have to carry a cooler with you while you're on your trip, or you're just going to have to order a drink while you're by the pool. That's going to cost more money. To me, with resorts, I personally don't like them. I have tried them and it just doesn't fit well with the way I travel. And there's a couple of reasons why. For one thing, when it says all inclusive, it includes your meals. You can get your meals usually for free because it's included in the cost. However, what are you going to do if you get there and the menu's not that extensive? You're eating the same meals over and over again, and you're like, today is day 3 of the same sad little steak that I ordered 2 times before. I want options. I want to be able to eat various things. Or maybe you found something really good on the first day, but it's a Monday only special and you're there for a week. So even though you really like that one item, you're not going to be able to eat it again the rest of your trip. Another thing with resorts is you sort of get bored being there. You stay in the resort, and unless there's tons of amenities, different things that you can do within the resort, you're gonna get bored. If they have, let's say, a lot of outdoor activities and you enjoy outdoor activities like golf, or maybe they have a horseback riding on the property or something like that, yeah, you can do different things on the resort each day. But if the resort does not have a lot of amenities, you're gonna get bored really fast. And you're gonna be seeing the same people there. Now, yeah, you can be social and meet new people and whatnot while you're there, but what if you don't like the demographic that is there? A lot of time resorts, they're more for an older crowd. And so if you're young, let's say if you're in your 20s and you're gonna stay at a resort, but everyone there is retired, you're not gonna have that much fun. When it comes to staying in resorts, I have found that usually I stay in the resort and it makes me not want to get out and explore. I kind of get lazy and go, oh, I'll just go to the pool, or I'll just visit over here and do this while I'm in the resort. And I don't actually get outside the resort and into the city or into the neighboring areas and explore what it's like to live in those areas. And for me, I like finding new places and going on adventures and exploring. So when it comes to booking resorts, take that into consideration. What type of person are you? Do you like to explore? Or are you someone who likes to book your room, stay in the area, and not get out? Maybe you have anxiety about getting out into an area, and resorts might be a good option for you because it's all within one property. All of your food is there, your lodging is there, you don't have to worry about transportation. So that might be a good option for you if you have anxiety and you want to get into traveling. You could stay within a resort, but if you don't have anxiety, or let's say you're feeling frisky while you're there and you're like, I want to get out and explore, you're probably not going to be as inclined to do that if you're staying in a resort. Now, the fourth option for lodging is staying with friends and family. And you have to think about your friends and family, who you're going to be staying with, before you choose this as an option. I only stay with my very closest friends and family, immediate family. We're not talking aunts, uncles, cousins. We're talking parents and siblings only. And when it comes to friends, I will only stay with best friends. I won't stay with people I haven't talked to in a while, but I'm still friends with you, or old coworkers. Unless my coworker is a best friend, I'm not going to stay with them. The reason why is it's just awkward. It is weird. You don't converse with those people very often, and when you do, you don't think about living in their home for a weekend or a week or longer. And it can get really awkward fast because you don't have that much to talk about. You can catch up with a friend or family member within a couple of hours of a conversation, but beyond that, it's kind of weird. And you're using their home or apartment or whatever it is, their facilities, and not everyone keeps their homes as clean or as accessible as you do. Everyone's different. So you want to think about that before you decide to choose staying with a friend or family member as an option. Now, one great thing about it is you are saving money, but the flip side is you're around them all the time. Now, when you stay with a friend or family member, don't just use them for lodging. Quite frankly, it's just rude. And you can burn a good friendship or burn your ties with your family members by only using them for lodging. I would be pretty upset if a friend called me up and said, "Hey, I want to come visit." And then when they arrive, I set up a place for them to sleep and I make sure everything is clean. And then I never see them because they're out doing stuff. Okay, thanks. It's kind of rude. And so you want to actually spend time with them. With that being said, before you just assume that they're going to take you in, contact that friend or family member and say, "Hey, I am going to be traveling and in your city during these dates. I would love to see you and spend time with you. Maybe even stay over for a night or two or longer. Are these dates going to work for you?" Not everyone can get off work. And in a way, you're kind of inconveniencing this person because they have to be able to give you access to the place, which means they may have to give you their key or have an extra key made. They may genuinely want to spend time with you while you're visiting, but they can't because they can't take off work. So when it comes to using friends and family member as a lodging option, take into consideration their point of view. Don't use them for just the lodging. Spend time with them and always check ahead of time to make sure that it is okay. Even if it's your parents and you're close to your parents, and every time that you come to visit, you stay with your parents, always check. Because your parents could be traveling too, and they're out of town when you surprise show up, and now you have no lodging. So always check ahead of time. Another good tip with staying with friends and family is always take them a thank you gift. You know them, they're your friends, they're your family, you know what they like. Take a gift to thank them for setting up a place for you to stay. Maybe it's a bottle of wine. Maybe it's a book. Maybe they're an avid reader and you want to give them a book. That would be a great gift. At the very least, give them a thank you card. Leave them a thank you card on your bed after you make your bed. Make sure you do that. Don't just leave everything strewn everywhere. Sure, they're going to probably wash the sheets after you leave, but out of respect, it's always a good idea to make up your bed, leave a little thank you card, specifically handwritten, because it just means more and will go a long way. And if you ever decide to visit again, they're more likely to want to host you versus, well, they just said see ya and walked out the door and called it a day. No one wants that. Just think of these things before you decide to use your friends and family as an option. Today we covered 4 different types of lodging that you can book for your travel and all the different pros and cons and some tips and tricks for each one. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions when it comes to booking lodging, maybe some more specific things that I didn't cover in this video, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you want to share this video with anyone else who is new to booking lodging, feel free to share those videos as well. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!